After a long and arduous process, I have finally returned to end the Fantastic Four franchise once and for all. You know, until they eventually make another one. My pain will never end. Fantastic Four, or as this version is commonly called, Fant Four Stick, was released in 2015 by Fox Studios after going through a teensy bit of production trouble. Oh god, everything's on fire! The film was helmed by indie director Josh Trank after his impressive feature debut Chronicle was a critical and financial hit. There was many a controversy surrounding this movie's production. Apparently, Trank and the studio had a rough go of it, involving a reported $100,000 in property damage to studio-mandated reshoots to blood sacrifices to the almighty deity Imhotep. I might have misread the Wikipedia article. Fox took the film away from Trank in post-production and did some heavy reworking to change the whole third act of the movie, and I'm sure no one will notice. But as the fair and balanced critic that I am, don't laugh, I promise I will do my best to look at the movie as what it is and not as what it could have been. That being said, the movie that is a goddamn mess. Our film begins in ye olden year of 2007, before Michael Bay ruined Transformers and I still had hopes and dreams. Reed Richards is sitting in class and actually looks age appropriate for the school he's in. Only took you 20 years.
Right now there are supercomputers that can transport quantum information through space. So why not a machine that can send people through space?
Yeah, but will it become visible to the human eye? Oh, I think not.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. This is all very interesting. But the assignment was to pick a real career in the real world.
Because science isn't a real profession. We all know that all scientists do is pour liquid into beakers, wear stupid white coats, and spout gibberish. I've seen the Muppets. Later that evening, we get a look at Ben Grimm's home life, and I hope you found it interesting because it doesn't end up amounting to anything. But things aren't looking too bad. He's about to discover his own iron giant.
I know you. From school. I'm just looking for a power converter.
He was going to go pick one up at Tashi Station, but some whiny asshole with a bowl cut got the last one. After presumably just running off to some random garage with a bunch of stolen shit, the two become fast friends as they build the teleporter. The scene is actually pretty well done. It establishes the grounded tone the movie is going for, and we get a sense of the bond forming between Reed and Ben, which surely won't go totally underutilized later on. 7 years later, and Reed and Ben, now played by Miles Teller and Jamie Bell, are finally ready to unveil the teleporter to the world at the most high-profile scientific platform there is, the school science fair. And let me guess, the experiment fails and they both look like idiots.
What you're looking at is sand, presumably from the Gansu Desert in China.
Wow, holy shit, it actually worked! I mean, yeah, some glass broke, but no one got hurt, and this is a major scientific breakthrough that could change the way we...
You're disqualified.
But it worked. They actually managed to transport matter across continents with very little power usage. Physicists should be lying around the block to talk to them.
This is a science fair, not a magic competition.
Are you fucking stupid? Magic... This is major scientific genius on full display amongst a group of half-assed high school science projects. What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to fucking acknowledge it. Franklin and Sue Storm are apparently recruiting new students for the Baxter Foundation at this event. I think. Either that or they're in desperate need for some baked potato batteries and they've got nowhere else to turn. They offer Reed a full-ride scholarship to Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, and he seems about as enthusiastic as I was when I found out I had pneumonia. Seriously, dude, show some enthusiasm. If I was offered a scholarship like this, I would have recited Singing in the Rain. Now enrolled at Gotham Academy, Reed moves in with the help of Ben, who will now be removed from the plot, because we can't let this relationship hang around for too long, otherwise we might start caring about it, and that shit just ain't gonna fly. Later, Reed and Sue finally get a chance to talk, and it's certainly meh at first sight.
I love this book. It's about this guy, Captain Nemo. He invents a submarine that goes deeper than anything in history.
Yeah, okay, and then he teams up with Sean Connery in a really shitty movie. Is this leading to anything?
Pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition.
Music is just a series of altered patterns. The musician creates the pattern and makes us anticipate resolution.
Oh, good! The ambience finally kicking in. Oh boy, the roundtable business meetings were my favorite part of the Tim Story movies. So glad they're making a comeback.
We need real-world applications.
This has real-world applications. I truly believe that there is
An entirely new universe just beyond our ability to see.
What is it with all the characters in this movie being so ambivalent to actual teleportation?
Wait, what is this? Victor Von Doom is on here.
Yeah, nice one, guys. Replacing my list with a joke one. Victor Von Doom. Like, that's a real name. He's real? Seems trustworthy. Franklin goes to meet Johnny Depp from Secret Window and asks him to join their super secret special government picnic. I can't possibly see this backfiring. Can you? I fucking buy it.
I told you I'm done working for you and your employers.
They're not my employers.
You can't do a thing without their permission, yes? Wake up. You're an employee.
I think someone in this room has been binge watching a lot of Mr. Robot lately. Franklin leaves Victor and his Google glasses to think about the offer. Meanwhile, Reed takes a tour of Epcot when Victor shows up and says, "Fuck it, I'm game," and gives his thoughts.
Rudimentary, elementary. It's basically a child's drawing.
Oh, so he found the Crow Wicked Prayer script.
New energy, resources. It's a whole new world.
Which can help save this one.
Not that it deserves to be saved. I mean, think about it. The people running the earth are the same ones running it into the ground, so maybe it deserves what it's got coming to it.
Alright, settle down, Tyler Durden. Save it for goth poetry night at Starbucks like the rest of us. We're finally introduced to our Johnny Storm of the film, played by Michael B. Jordan, joining the long list of actors far too good for this movie. Also, I think you're getting your Fast and Furious and my Fantastic Four. I appreciate the effort, but it won't save this movie. Johnny wrecks the car, so Daddy Storm brings him in for a good old paddling of science.
We don't need any more help.
Yes, you do. He can build anything.
Yes, absolutely anything. Except for a car that can go 90 miles an hour without exploding. It's a bit of a blind spot. Johnny joins the team for their inevitable montage filled with writing on whiteboards, typing on keyboards, Chinese takeout, and looking at things. What things they are, what do they mean, doesn't matter, but they are damn well looking at it. Reed and Sue seem to be getting along well, and it's really pissing Victor off because he was totally planning to ask Reed out, and this makes the whole thing way more complicated. But it's okay, because they finally completed their work on the teleporter. So now they will send Caesar the Chimp over to the faraway set of Mad Max Fury Road.
I think it's time to start coordinating with our friends at NASA.
What?
It works. We have to start thinking about sending men.
Yeah. Us.
You know, the untrained college kids. Well, I know nothing makes me feel better than getting plastered and bitching about my first world problems.
But you know who Neil Armstrong is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
First man to walk on the moon. Hired to conquer dreams that weren't even theirs.
Yeah, I mean, why would they even want to go there? It's boring. Nothing to do. There's no football on the moon. Hello, Terry. It's me. I got the next great idea ready for you. You see, Hello? Terry? He hung up. Reed, Victor, and Johnny decide to piss in the face of common sense and take the teleporter out for a spin. And Reed invites Ben along for the ride, waking him up from his favorite dream, where he hangs out with Chris Evans on a post-apocalyptic train.
I'm not going without you.
Look, Reed, we've talked about this. We're not going to Disneyland until they open the Star Wars park. Ben's back in the movie just in time to get royally fucked over, so let's suit up for this really bad idea. Someone's missing from these scenes, though. Oh, I guess she's busy hunting down Jason Bourne? Looks like the boys are going to be in big trouble when they get back. They're totally going to have to spend the summer working for old Mr. McGregor, and his place has no Wi-Fi. It's the fucking worst. But first, a quick visit to this green screen set. An evening out with the boys rock climbing. Reminds me of why I never go outside. Don't stick your hand in that. It didn't go well for Hercules. It sure as shit isn't going to go well for you.
Sue, listen! I need you to manually override the re-entry, okay?
Okay, I got it.
Manually override the re-entry!
I'm trying.
I'm typing as hard and indiscriminately as I can. In all seriousness, this escape sequence and the scenes that follow it are some of the best in the movie. They're appropriately intense and are definitely a fresh take on the character's origins. There's a lot of body horror tones in this, and Josh Trank even stated early in the production of this movie that he was going for David Cronenberg's Fly vibe with the film, and that's most prevalent here. A bit dark considering the character's portrayals in the comics, sure, but I appreciate that he goes for it. And we already had a lighthearted version of these characters in previous films, and we saw how that turned out, so why not spin these characters differently and keep things interesting? At least it tries. Doesn't really pull it off all the way. During their return, the screenwriter remembers that Sue is also supposed to get superpowers, so she's hit with a shockwave from the other dimension, which is a wonderful coincidence. Who knows, it could have ended up being Jim from HR, and that motherfucker has a vendetta. Victor is lost to the other side and presumed dead, while Reed wakes up sometime later to find himself being examined by actual professional doctors, as opposed to, Dr. Frankenfurter from the 1994 movie. He hears Ben calling for help, so he John McClane's his way to him, promising to help him cure his terrible case of strep throat. And also the whole rock monster thing, I guess. But then Reed decides to leave, because... Actually, I don't really know why. There must be some logical explanation for this. There is no logical explanation for this. Mirror Universe Agent Coulson tells Dr. Storm to cooperate with the government or else he's gonna get a sternly worded email from them. Some mildly upsetting stakes. Wow, things are getting intense. I'm honestly really curious as to how all this is gonna turn out. Oh, wait, 1 year later? No, you can't do that. You can't get me all hot and bothered with the foreplay and then just dump cold water on my crotch. Again. So now instead of seeing all of our main characters learn how to come to terms with their powers and the effects that they have on their bodies and the horrible pain and trauma the accident must have caused them, we're now just gonna montage our way through all that character development via boring government briefings by the most obviously sinister G-Man this side of Half-Life.
Everyone, have a look. Very impressive PlayStation 3 cutscene. Apparently 3 of our merry band are now soldiers for the government, which they totally stole from my fanfiction I wrote years ago. It's quite long and a bit complicated, but I'm quite proud of the complexity I managed to... You don't seem interested, it's fine. It's no worries, it's only my life's work. Looks like Reed is hanging out in generic South American countryside. My favorite vacation spot. He feels really bad about what he did to Ben, so he decides the best way to help is to use seriously outdated computers in a cabin in the woods because that's way more effective somehow than using the state-of-the-art technology at the Baxter Building. Truly, he's the greatest mind of his generation. With the power of callback references, Sue manages to track down Reed's location, so they send Ben to bring him in. Friend versus friend. Truly, this is a conflict with high stakes. Only one can be the victor. Who will it be? And it is over. This movie truly refuses to satisfy. They fly back to meet with this alternate Russian character skin for Tim Blake Nelson, and Reed's put into timeout to think about what he's done.
Look, I'm sorry, but I didn't have a choice.
We all have to suffer through this movie, Miles. You're not allowed to weasel out of it. Reed's put to work finishing the giant toaster oven while Franklin talks to Johnny.
Johnny, you need to listen to me.
I did listen to you, and that's what got me here in the first place. I'm an adult. I'm old enough to make my own decisions. And continue to prove that they're both too good for this movie.
Reed gets Galactus' hairdryer working again, so they send in this expendable group of mooks to the other side with the hopes of finding their secret stash of the highly coveted Nickelodeon slime. But oh shit, Trash Man is here to crash the party. It's garbage day, motherfuckers. Actually, it's Victor, who survived all this time by covering himself in heavy-duty aluminum foil. But Agent Smith and his chewing gum are determined to get to the bottom of what happened.
That place kept me alive, gave me strength. Power.
Unlimited breadsticks. And to throw this movie's PG-13 rating into question, you know, of all the movies I expected to compare a Fantastic Four movie to, Scanners was not one of them. Not necessarily complaining about it. Doom starts to go on a rampage in what is one of the best scenes in the movie. I'm being for real. I haven't seen this much head exploding in a movie since Kingsman: The Secret Service. All it's missing are some fucking fireworks. But like pretty much everything else good in this movie, it comes with a catch as it ends with Doom killing one of the best actors in the film.
Boo. Sue and Johnny are too late to save their dad, but not too late to get some cliche final words.
Promise me, look after each other.
Just remember that with great power comes great responsibility, Rosebud. Freedom!
So Victor goes back to Dimension X and just decides to destroy Earth because I guess it gets boring over there. And this decision comes apropos of nothing. Let's really break it down here. He was in this place for a whole year, minding his own business, and then is suddenly taken back to Earth by the research team, who questioned him for half a scene before he makes his Stephen King-inspired escape, and then he just decides out of the blue that Earth must be consumed because... But hey, at least we'll get a fun climax out of this. Surely. And hey, what would a modern superhero movie be without sky beams? The true threat to mankind. Whether you're Iron Man or some guy with a boomerang, the sky beams will wreak their havoc on the Earth. Where were you when the sky beams conquered the planet and became our all-powerful overlords? Bow before them. All glory to our CGI luminary masters. Our heroes, a term I use as loosely as possible, get sucked into this mess of a third act with a passion in their eyes to stop Victor and his nefarious schemes because they do happen to be there and don't have much else going on at the moment, so hey, why not?
The matter from Earth is being converted to energy! We need to stop Victor, he's the source!
Thanks, Mr. Exposition. You're my second favorite hero, right after Captain Hindsight.
Also, these visual effects are pretty bad. Look, it can't all be in-depth commentary. Sometimes you just gotta tell it like it is. There's some kinda clever moments in this fight, but I'm so disinterested in everyone involved in it that's basically visual noise.
There is no Victor. There is only Doom.
Oh no. He's reached edgelord critical mass.
Kate Mara and her obvious wig challenge Doom alone, but it doesn't go well.
I saw a different future for us, Susan.
Yeah? And when was that? You two barely shared 2 lines together.
Things are looking bleak. For the movie's financial success, I mean. I couldn't care less about what's actually happening. But with the power of friendship, Reed makes a last-ditch effort against Doom, knocking him out momentarily so the four can regroup in some lame rallying cry that's meant to signify them coming together as a team, and I don't care so hard. Hey, remember how Doom was literally blowing up people's heads earlier? I do. But I guess the movie forgot about it because otherwise this fight will be over in 3 seconds and we gotta hit that 90-minute runtime. Just put this lame climax out of its misery.
Alright! It's clobbering time!
Hey, he said that...
Doom's defeated and the Sky Beam Rebellion is quelled once again. Our heroes return triumphant and have tea and scones with General Generic to discuss their future working relationship.
Whatever we come up with belongs to us.
And what if we say no?
Say yes.
How about no?
Later, at the airplane hangar of Justice, the four gather once more to admire their new digs.
I got it. The Franklin Storm Research Center.
Dad was kind of allergic to his name in big letters.
Also bees. Not related, just a fun fact.
But this team's gonna need a name.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Guys, I got it.
I don't understand how this movie wasn't a hit. That dialogue was pure gold.
Yeah, this movie was a critical and financial bomb, and what really sucks about it is that the failure of this film in conjunction with the drama that unfolded around the production possibly cost Josh Trank a directing job on a potential Star Wars spin-off movie, which is a real shame because there are hints of a fresh and interesting movie among this clusterfuck. The Cronenberg influences work surprisingly well, and those scenes are really when the movie is at its best. But there are a lot of story threads that just start and stop, and the performances across the board come across as wooden, with a couple exceptions, and the third act is just a car wreck of derivative ideas and unpolished visual effects. In fact, the whole movie feels like it's missing its second act. With the whole 1-year time jump after the first hour, we become completely detached from these characters and whatever arcs they were supposed to go through, so nothing feels earned or like it was even properly set up to begin with.
And that concludes our time for the Fantastic Four franchise. At least for now. But I'm sure, like the Phoenix, the Fantastic Four will rise from the ashes at some point in some time. But until then, I'm going to leave it at the bottom of the metaphorical ditch in its metaphorical burning car, screaming and begging to be put out of its misery. That went to a dark place. Anyway, I have more important things to do, like watch more movies that will probably disappoint me, because I never fucking learn. Speaking of which, I bet you're dying to know what franchise I'm going to be covering next. Well, here's a subtle hint. It's Underworld. Bye.